So, where we left off at the end of last session, you guys kicked the ever-loving shit out of poor old C.H.A.O.S, the cheesemonger, who had the audacity of trying to hire you for a side quest, a side mission, while you're waiting for the dungeon to end, just to figure out why he was losing his product in his warehouse. You successfully searched through the warehouse, cleared out all of the rats. That all headed the surviving rats after you skewered, killed, sliced, diced, got stuck in barrels, did all kinds of adventures and misadventures into the main entry area, the foyer of his warehouse, the loading dock, sorry, of his warehouse. I just saw the pin come up, where you then aggravated C.H.A.O.S as he was starting to attempt to have a conversation with you when he looked over to see that there were glowing corpses of what he called his babies on the end of arrows. There were rats split in half, being eaten by Alia. There was a giant rat in a trap being held by Zachary, who also had a rat skewered on the end of his rapier. He barely got a sentence out before transforming into a humanoid rodent and launching on the offensive against you with turned out to be armed with a crossbow and a short sword. The end of that battle, it turned out that it looked like quite a few of the rats that you had killed through the warehouse actually diminished the swarm of rats that were there laying in wait, hidden in the shadows in the corner of the room, trying to ambush you. And as a result, you're able to, especially Zachary, dance around them and lay waste to the swarm of rats, what was left of the swarm of rats that weren't already on your arrows. Alia embedded an arrow filled with rat children into the stomach of poor C.H.A.O.S. A gash opened up by the magic sword wielded by Phocionis, and enhanced further with a guided bolt of divine rage at that point that came from Ivy. And it played cleanup. The whole scene got interrupted by a visit from what you suspect is the AI that's overseeing the entire fall, the entire dungeon experience that you guys are in, that's harvesting Earth's resources, that appeared to be quite miffed at C.H.A.O.S, and he had failed in ending you and culling further numbers from the crawl. And so his head, he was essentially partly resurrected because he was dead, only to have his head exploded comically, almost comically, by that silhouette that then granted you guys some rewards and some access to C.H.A.O.S belongings in this warehouse. Nothing belonging to the cheese world, but to C.H.A.O.S. At the end of the battle, there was a giant rat that slept through the entire thing, thanks to Zachary's sleep spell at the beginning, that has then been tied up with like almost all of an entire length of 50-foot rope. There's more rope than rat at this point in Ivy's arms, and she has adopted the rat and dubbed him Rathu. This is an interesting yep, that's happened. And with Rathu in arms, Ivy and Zachary, who were the only two that investigated C.H.A.O.S office, found a few things, but nothing of huge worth, a few little bits and pieces. But they also, where they could have just gently moved his desk aside, they found a trapdoor under the desk. When the trapdoor opened, there was a pause. A rank gas came out that did cause some poison damage, but turned out just to be pent up rancid cheese. And undecided on what to do and whether they were willing to pull on the handles that were in this, these metal handles that were sitting inside that trapdoor. The trapdoor stayed open, and a platform rose with a sarcophagus on top of it of C.H.A.O.S in his humanoid rat form, the disco ball that came down, a light show that lit up. It rotated several times, apparently on some kind of timer, with the door having been opened, and then descended back down into the door. And Ivy and Zachary promptly shut the door, and Zachary vowed never to talk about it again. Ivy made no such vow.
What was the disco soundtrack? Was it Born to Be Alive?
There was no sound playing. That for whatever reason, whether that was part of the show or they just damaged the speaker setup beyond belief when they reefed on his desk, expecting it to be like a banker's desk and be considerable weight. It turned out to be plywood and just shattered against the wall. So there's now a pile of debris on a rug covering the trapdoor. You all headed over in a staggered fashion to the door marked private. Opened that up with the key that was found in the busted crates where Ali was sticking her nose in various holes in the previous session. And where you exited was with the shimmering barrier that you had previously seen there had been removed. The four of you headed in at different points in time, with Alia and Fokionis in first into the down the stairs and into what appears to be a private stash, where there was a whole range of different things that I won't read through again. You guys have collected them all, and I'll drop them basically in the Discord when you know what they are. But there was a whole bunch of things, from some really strange looking orbs, a giant tankard, really ornate drinking glass, a javelin that had some sparks of what seems to be static electricity going over its surface, and there was a range of other items as well that essentially all just got swept into the bags, I believe, of Fokionis and Alia. And I know Fokionis was working hard to stop Alia taking everything, if I remember the Twitch messages correctly, that would be madly typed.
I think I'm just sending into like a order.
So that is where you guys find yourselves now. You're in this private stash, and one of you, I forget who it was, made the assumption that you thought it was from the people who hadn't made it through this quest, that was likely to be their gear. I'm sorry, I don't know who to attribute that to. I don't remember. And this is where you are with Ivy and Zachary, and and Rathu, who I've just been informed is Rathu Radicus III, cuddled in Ivy's arms and bundled up in rope. You're in the cheesemonger's little stash house that you couldn't access until he was dead, and you're all leveled up to level 4.
Oh, that's right. We're gonna get trapped.
So what would you like to do?
So we got all this stuff.
I'm flying blind here because if you recall, I disconnected towards the end here.
Yeah.
So after just clearing it out, we'll just leave, I guess.
So to answer your question, because you said, did you get all the stuff? If that was directed at me, between Fokionis and Alia, they grabbed all of the items that were. It's very clear display stuff. Nothing was hidden that they found, that they grabbed. It was all seemed pretty proud of what was there, and there was a little chest of coins. All of that just got dumped into their bags, so they currently have all of that between them. To answer your question, Zach.
Okay, let's go.
Oh, Jesus
such
Christ.
quantification before.
So where are you let's going to? Are you exiting
Back
out of
to home base? Where was that? I don't have the map. Sorry.
Oh yeah, because we grabbed everything and tried to run, didn't we?
You grabbed everything out of that room, and I think between the two of you, you were looking at running, and the other two came into the room.
Now, the godlike voice told us that the cheese was property of the game.
Yeah.
The AI said that everything that belonged to Cheese World you wouldn't be able to remove, because it remains the property of that business with a new cheesemonger to be found. But that anything that was the property of Chez Bouquet was fair game for you to take.
All right, so this is Chez Bouquet stuff, right?
You were able to take it. So if you were able to pick it up and move it, it doesn't belong to the Cheese World.
All right. Unless you guys want some of those cheese statues, we should head off.
I feel like we could go back and visit our cheese-loving friend and see if he wants to take on a new role as cheesemonger as well.
No, we need him.
Yeah. But we need him to be happy, and he's happy to keep eating cheese.
All right. Well, I'll
I
let
I
him
mean, we can at
know.
least tell.
First thing, yeah. All right. Let's go.
All right, so you're heading out of the warehouse. You've got all the keys and everything. So you have, at this point, you have what seem to be Shay's keys to Cheese World. So unless those locks and doors get changed, you currently have free access in and out. So you're exiting out just essentially through the way you came, back through like his little office slash bedroom. Yep. And then where are you heading from there? If you make that decision, I'm just going to load up the next, take us back to the world between.
Did we get?
Yeah.
Did we get? Other than what we've just absconded, we didn't really get paid, did we? Because he didn't have the amount of money that he was going to pay us on his person anyway. Did he?
No,
No.
so he picked up, I think it was Alia who just dove on the shit that he dropped, which was 36 gold pieces, a short sword, and a hand crossbow.
Yeah.
I mean, we did also kind of kidnap his son.
I mean, I didn't know that because he's
You're
dead.
not wrong.
Adopted son. He adopted him.
We don't know what sort of freaky
Just-
rat business he
he's-
got up to.
Why was he a rat man, and why did he have only rat kids?
Well, does that mean
Yeah.
at some stage,
Batman.
if the moon is right, that Rathu might take human form?
Matthew, can you talk?
We'll take that as a no.
Rathu,
feed
sorry,
Rathu
I'm just
to
laughing
like
at you
it,
guys
like-
and realize that last thing was directed at me. So Rathu just wriggles around in your arms. He does not seem to be able to communicate with you in the manner that you desire.
well, part of
Maybe
his
he's just a baby.
Is this
Maybe.
part of his cunning
What
plan?
if we teach him to talk?
I've seen weird
You can
things.
certainly try.
I think we should start by dressing.
Oh my
Rathu
god,
appropriately.
Lily, can you send me Rathu's names through Discord? Because I'm gonna lose track of those. Jesus Christ.
Rathu Radicus the third of the Great Hound Rathby, son of the wonderful Ratnus Radicus, and redacted.
Oh, dear Lord.
We don't care about shit.
And Shea Bouquet. Okay, so where are you at? You're out of the warehouse.
Shay's
So at
keep-
the moment you're on the outskirts of the area that you can access of that world between. So essentially quite a large island that's surrounded by that black void. But it is quite sizable, and you're just on the outside of the wall at the moment.
Yeah, can we go back and check in with Mort and just let him know we're okay?
Yep, you guys are heading over to Mort.
Oh, no, that's my suggestion. If anyone else,
I will
Yeah,
follow
sure.
the big man.
I missed that. Sorry, Ivy.
We will follow the big man.
hey,
All right. So as you head through, it's now it's quite dark. I know the map doesn't show that, but it's quite dark. You've been at this quest with all of your comings and goings and the back and forth where you went several trips across from the safe room, from Mort's safe room to Mishmash Merchants. There were several trips for some of you back and forth there, and another trip to Cheese World, and then heading down to the warehouse, and all the time you spent searching, clearing, and then the where you ultimately ended with a smear on the ground of the former cheesemonger. You're now deep into the night, so it's there's like equivalent of street lights that are on that are lighting your way. It's not pitch black by any stretch, like you can see your way through, but it's certainly a little bit more eerie than when it was in full daylight. You know the way, it's a clear path. There's certainly less people around, fewer people around, and it was already quite light on, even though there were more and more people appearing in the square and kind of furtively going between buildings. Everyone seeming to be quite traumatized and scared shitless of everything they'd been through to make it into this point, through whatever their dungeon threw at them. But you've largely got the place to yourself at the moment as you move your way through the flickering torchlight, and return without any real issue and without running into anybody, player, NPC or otherwise, and you head back into Mort's safe room. where you find Mort in his typical. Yeah, feel free to move yourselves up there. In his typical fashion. This time, as opposed to just some bottle of liquor on the table as he's sipping his dram, he has it happily paired with some crackers that he's gotten from somewhere, and he's still that cheese is barely dinted, but he's happily munching away and sipping his something, and you can still hear that little faint what's now lost its words and just become a little murmur as he's singing about his happiness of receiving his cheese and fuck Shay, and there's various little phrases you catch as he seems still very happy with
Ding dong, the
his
witch
wheel.
is dead.
And he looks up, like acknowledges your presence, but he's munching with a mouthful of cheese, so it's more of a wave than anything else.
Hey,
Right,
Mort.
So who's going to tell him?
And of course, you've still got Grebo following you as well. Every now and then you notice that black cat is still winding around your ankles. And so he's heard part of this, cat. And he's got half a mouth. He's going, "Pro what?" Which roughly translates into "Tell me what." From Mort, who's just happily chomping away.
So Shea Bouquet, like real name is apparently Chez Bucket.
Oh fuck! I could have told you that.
Why didn't you? That's hilarious. And also he's dead. So
there's a little bit there's coughs and splutters and
yeah, apparent.
And you're getting this indication of circle back.
He hired us to get some thieves out of his warehouse, and apparently it was a whole big scam to kill crawlers. So it was sort of a trapped and everything. So
did you know also that he takes other form?
Swallows. Fuckers are chaotic. Can someone start and tell me what the fuck happened? You've now got his attention. The drink's down. The cheese is aside. He's tried to follow. He got the bit, having a laugh, the fact that you found the pretentious fuckwit's name, but you've thrown a lot and more just there.
Can we show him Rathu and just hold Rathu up towards him and be like, he a rat? He was a rat. We have his rat now, his son rat.
So not helping. You brandish a giant red-eyed, there's still like bits of shit in its teeth from whatever it's been eating rat to a Care Bear that is slightly bigger than it and runs an establishment whose purpose is to keep you safe and feed you. You've noticed that Mort keeps his place spotless. Like, you're not seeing cockroaches, mice, nothing in there, or not even a fly, let alone a rat or a giant rat. So as you step out from behind Foccionus brandishing this tied up rat in your arms, the knife that he was using to be chopping up the cheese, Mort, as faster than you've ever seen him move, is all of a sudden standing. He has the knife pointed at you and the rat, and he's just, what the fuck is that thing? Get that thing out of here. Get it away from me. What?
His name is Matthew Radicus III of the Great House Ratsby. And he is mine now.
All right, so you've still got Mort brandishing his knife. I'm assuming... Is anyone going to take a moment to just actually explain everything? I'm happy to either fast track or you can tell it.
No, I'm just going to watch, see what happens.
Mort, my fluffy little friend, listen up, okay? This is what happened. That fucker got us to go over there to try and fix his problem of missing cheese, which was some bullshit because, as my friend said here, it's just a trap to get people to go in because his family / army of little fucking rats just eats everyone, which is some bullshit. And so we didn't know because he didn't tell us. And of course we go, rats is the problem from cheese because, 2 + 2 is 4, take away 1, that's 3, quick maths. And we fucking killed him. And then we go back to tell this prick, and he fucking wigs out and goes on like a monster rat and then tries to fucking kill us, which is some bullshit. So, we kill him, then we all get stuck to this fucking funny looking rat trap thing, but we kill that shit too, and then some weird shit happened, and then, which we're not going to speak about, and then we found some stuff, and now we're here. Oh, and of course, in the true story of person kills enemy, keeps son alive, because that never goes wrong in any movie where that son grows up to fucking avenge his dad. We now have Rathy here.
So you see more just like his head has been swiveling from the rat that is now in his establishment to the kind of partial explanation he got from Zachary, the jumbled, kind of just ignoring everything that actually happened other than the importance of the fact that she now has this rat that I'm pretty confident that Ivy sees one way and Mort definitely and the rest of the world sees quite differently in her arms. He's still got the knife, but Mort takes a moment. So if I got this right, Shay was a werewolf?
A were-rat?
Right. He was trying to kill you?
Yeah, and feed us to his fucking underlings.
He always was a greasy fucker. But
yes, my boy.
Did
now
not
you
expect.
Get bored with this situation.
I mean, I feel worse if he'd sold me cheese. But anyway, hold on. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter now.
Well, as it so happens, that means that there's an opening at the cheese shop.
Oh, the AI will fill that soon enough. Some poor prick is going to get jammed off your world into that.
But that means you can get checked again.
So you've got. I'm bound to this role until it terminates. But that would be fun. But, you could just see sort of like that misty eye for a moment before he snaps back to Ellie.
No. But I mean, you can go buy cheese again because you don't have that other fuck there.
Oh, and at that point, the one eye just goes wide. That was not something that he'd even considered. It had crossed his mind. More cheese.
Mort, come back to me. Your eyes are yellow, spinning like a
Start spinning like Swiss cheese, and they're all dead. So this rodent is now part of your party.
I'll clean him up, I swear, don't worry.
Do you maybe have a pet wash?
Is it now part of your party?
It is part of C.H.A.O.S, yes.
Shit. So you see Mort mulling over this and coming to the realization that he is at the service of your party, and that means that Rathu is now part of Team C.H.A.O.S, so he is part of Mort's domain. So a little bit of a pause there, and this is addressing you, Ivy. We're going to need to talk about training. You need to house train that thing. Agreed?
I will look after Rathu to the best of my abilities. Ivy will point towards Alia. Look, I did it once. I did one rodent, I could do another.
She ain't wrong.
You don't need a high perception roll to see that Mort is skeptical at best about how successful that
Alia
training
talks now and fires a bow.
Yep. So Mort waddles off. You hear him banging and crashing, and there's all kinds of thumping in the background. And then he comes waddling back out again, and he's holding this mesh cage that you can see very clearly when he plonks it down on the floor. It's like a huge version of what you would use for those mouse traps where the mice climb in to get the food, as opposed to like it snapping shut. It's a mesh cage, and it has a narrowing funnel so they can push their way in. They can't push their way back out. For some reason, Mort has had a giant rat size one of those stashed somewhere out in his area that you can't really see into properly. And in the banging and crashing that you were hearing, he has done a terrible but effective job of bending the wires of the funnel back up and cutting some off so that it's now a rectangular mesh cage that Rathu can easily fit into. There is no way for him to get out. There's clips that need to be opened from the outside for him to be able to get out, but he can fit in there comfortably. And you can even see that what must have been a struggle for Mort, he has even found some blankets, quite thick, like blankets, and placed them at the bottom to make up essentially a cage that is also a bed for Rathu. And with that, dropping that in front of Ivy, he sleeps in there till he's trained.
I mean, can I wash him before I put him in there, or?
Oh, for the love of God, yes. I don't want him in there now. You hold him. So you've agreed to that. Mort toddles off, puts that in the room where all the bunk beds are. So Rathu now has his own sleeping crate in the bunk bedroom.
Castle did Rathu.
All right. Dusts his hands off. Mort disappears again for a second. You hear like just, if you've heard like sanitizer pump go once, you'll hear a tap running, you can hear soap going, and then you hear what sounds to be about 50 hand sanitizer pumps, and Mort comes out, not looking his normal self, but from like the elbow down is just matted fur, where he has been just vigorously scrubbing himself clean from that whole interaction. All right, so you mentioned you found some things, and does anyone need food?
Yeah, we found some magic items.
Right,
Yeah,
right
we
down for food.
inherited all Shay's personal stuff,
Just
which
weird shit in that bro's house.
included some magic items we assume were from people who weren't as lucky as us.
Would you
Yes.
like me to identify them?
Yeah, sure. Yes, that'd be great. Thank you.
Do
All
it.
right, I'll
Do it.
place
do
them
it.
on the, and he points to a table, an empty table. If you place them there, I'll come and have a look. And while he's doing that, there are a couple of you who mentioned that you're a bit hungry. So as opposed to going into his normal like burger routine, Mort starts chopping really generous chunks of cheese with gleeful abandon. I think Fokionis's words of the assurance that there would be as much cheese as he'd like to buy. He's no longer banned, at least for now, from Cheese World. So he's putting these huge slabs of cheese onto the cracker biscuits. These things are massive. They're almost a sandwich size with the amount of cheese that's on them. And he's sliding them onto a tray across the counter of the bar for you guys to help yourself. So anyone who wants to go and get yourself some cheese and crackers, they're decent slabs. So help yourselves.
Mort. Have you got any bread, mate?
And off he goes. Toddles back behind, comes out with just a few bags. There's white bread, there's bread rolls. He weren't really specific, so he just grabbed what he has. So you've got your choice of some basic options.
Mort.
There's some.
Have you got a frying pan, bro?
Do you want me to look at this shit or not?
Mort. I want to make a cheese toasty, mate.
Okay. So now he understands, until he thought we were just fucking with him. Like, go back and come back and go out and come back and go out and come back. So from under his counter, more it just starts piling up. You could there's a waffle iron you could use to make a cheese toasty. There's a sandwich press. There's he gets out a little what for us would look like for you guys would look like a gas cooktop. It's obviously somehow magically powered, but it is essentially a little circular unit with a cast iron skillet on top of it. And there puts a few bottles of oils and different things, butters, and you've essentially got a smorgasbord of. He's pretty sure he understands. May not be exactly how he'd do it, but you sounded like you were keen to do it yourself, and you've earned some goodwill. Focionis with Maud at the moment, so he's pretty keen to accommodate. All right, Focionis is getting into the. Okay, so
you got truffle oil here. Okay.
But before you get into that too much, Alia and Focionis, are you guys going to put essentially scoop out everything that was on in that room onto the table?
Do it.
Yeah.
All right. So between the two of you, you're scooping out, and Alia is just vigorously shaking off bits of rubbish and shit that are in her bag to make sure that none of that preciousness is left on any of the coins or things that she's mounding up out of her bag, is pushes the rubbish back in, because that's far more important than any of the rest of this, and steadily start mounding items up on the table. And as Focionis is busy making cheese toasties and the rest of you are finding your seats wherever you are around the room, Mort takes his time to start working through these. Some of these items he's able to identify quite quickly. He's seen them before, or he's used them possibly, but he's very aware of what they are. Some of them he needs to study a little bit more carefully, and he disappears back behind his counter a couple of times and pulls up the whatever it is that he looked at last time when he was, you're not exactly sure what it is, but he's definitely accessing something to kind of find out a bit more about these items so that he can do his job and let you know what they are. But by the time he's done, around 30-40 minutes has passed, because he's quite quick with most of this stuff, which I assume means that Focionis has finished at least a couple of rounds of sandwiches and been busily chomping into his toasties. So what you guys have received from, in addition to the items that Alia picked up that you still currently have in your possession, Alia, because they weren't anything that needed identified. So you had the 36 gold pieces, you had a short sword, a hand crossbow, and the key ring, in addition to the extra key. So you have those items. It initially easily identifiable in the early instances. More just counted out the coins, stacked them up to one side so that you guys can confirm his count. But that was the easy part. So you pulled out of that that storage space where Shay had all of his trophies, 1 platinum coin, 100 gold coins, and 70 silver. So 1 platinum, 100 gold, 70 silver. So that's all piled on the table. And I'll happily link all of these.
I hope somebody's writing this down, because I'm not.
Right in Discord.
All right. I will tell you what they are as well. Actually, I'll drop the link into the Discord so you can see them all, because it actually links to the items, which might make some decision making if any of you have particularly strong feelings or desires for the items to access them. So give me 2 seconds and let me whack that in. Thank you, Lily, for sending me Rathew's full name. I'm getting vibes of season 1 Vox Machina. Percival's name, Percival whatever DeRollo the third. If anyone can just rattle that off the top of their head without googling it, that's impressive. So what you guys pulled out, the items that are identified, you have what is known as a pearl of power. So this translucent, quite large pearl that has some very specific properties to it. I will go through them all. So let me tell you what you've got, and then I'll give you just a summarized version. You have a javelin of lightning. And apologies for the headings you've got there. They're just my organizational headings and where the loot was generated from. There's a potion of diminution. I knew I was going to pronounce this wrong. Diminution, I think it is pronounced. There is a cap of water breathing, an emerald elemental gem, a charlatan's die, a talking doll that we need to circle back to, a staff of bird calls, a single spell scroll that when Mort explains what it is a scroll of detect poison and disease, a set of soft leather boots that are the boots of false tracks, and the big drinking mug like an Oktoberfest beer stein is the tankard of sobriety.
I feel like that should go to Mort.
I don't know that Mort would accept it when you look at what it is and what it does. So I'll give you a summarized version. I know a few of you will have jumped through, but this is also for the benefit of anyone who might be watching it and want to know what these things are. I've just got them all kicked up, and I'll go through the main ones. And you can either make decisions on this stuff.
I know what I want. I want one thing. Definitely want one thing from that list.
Just answering Lily's questions, that's what color Rathu is. So he's like a light brown rat color, but that could just be dirt. You said you're going to clean him up, so don't know exactly what Rathu's color is. He could be light brown, or he could be much cleaner underneath. So the Pearl of Power is an item where whoever is using it can speak the command word that you attune it to and regain one expanded spell slot. And if it's a 4th level or higher spell slot, it's a 3rd level spell slot you get back. And you can use that once per dawn. So it resets at dawn. So that's the Pearl of Power to get a spell slot back. And it is an attuned item. The Javelin of Lightning, as the name suggests, there is a lot of info on this one, but it has a few different key points. The main being that it has some specific bonuses that it gets around the lightning that is crackling around it. So you have the ability to use it as its normal javelin self, and also as a thrown weapon. And it has just started hammering down rain. The potion that I mentioned is gives you an enlarge or reduce, and it's a single-use one. The Cap of Water Breathing, as the name suggests, puts basically an air bubble around your head, so it's the person version for underwater of what Zeb used with the giant spacesuit that she rocked up in. And I'm going to have to go shut some windows. I'm sorry. So I've got the links there of what those items are. I will come back to and finish giving the summaries, but give me 2 seconds to hit the intermission. Actually, I'm just going to leave you guys to your devices. If you would like to look at those items and discuss while I go shut windows, please feel free.
Right, headphones off. So definitely think that it would be funny if if Rathu perhaps didn't have hair and it's just skin, like one of them cats that's just hairless.
Naked mole rat.
Yeah.
Naked mole rat.
I figured that you're going to dress him in clothes anyway, aren't you?
I feel like he should get the talking doll, Rathu.
What if we use the enlarge reduce potion on him and make him big?
Oh my god.
Can we give him the Cap of Water Breathing or something as well? Just throw him in water.
He's a dolphin now.
He's a dolphin.
Especially if he's hairless. But in all seriousness, I do think that Zach should get the Pearl of Power.
If we can tie the staff of bird calls to Rathu, does that mean we can communicate to him through bird calls?
I mean...
Is that a thing we can make work? I mean,
maybe?
Just to drive Spa. Nah, it's Spa. I feel like that'll work.
Jesus.
Because, rats often speak in bird. What else?
What else was in that little list he sent? Obviously, someone very specific is getting the Javelin of Lightning.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, that's right. Alia is.
Okay.
Nah, man, I don't want it.
Does Alia want the click-clack dies?
The what?
The click-clack dies, the charlatan die.
What does that do?
Cheating dice.
Oh. When he said he's going to link
Sure, why not?
linking like to the actual thing so we could see what they do.
Is that
It just-
crossbow plus anything? Is it worth anything?
You can always sell it if you don't want it. Because don't you have one already? Don't you,
No, I have a longbow, not a crossbow.
you don't want to be faffing about with any crossbow.
Ah. No, the charlatan's die is you can choose which
Yeah,
number
you can
it
choose what number it rolls on, but for the main thing for Ali, you can throw it. It's a bit of dice. It go click clack on ground.
I'm just imagining like the raccoons when they're like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's mine.
Did I just see the Rathues now? You wanting to be one of those allergy-free cats?
Look,
Yeah, yeah.
No.
No?
All right.
But come on.
We're gonna
They have
turn it
to-
into a naked mole rat.
And then dress it.
You got some work to do. Then you might need to get some clippers. So the emerald gem, when broken as an action, lets you summon a water elemental.
Yeah, been there, done that. Wasn't very fun.
Okay, there's a charlatan's die, so that whenever you roll it, you can
That's
control
mine.
what number it rolls. There is a
I need it for
talking
my
doll.
sniffing holes.
Oh, wait.
It's like a literal dice. It's not you like Ms. Racer. It's your character now has this dice. Like if you're playing a dice game or something like that, you can control what number comes up. So it's literal like a Monopoly dice.
That's okay. It makes a cool
Looks
sound.
like normal dice. You guys sort of who's taken what? I'm doing the talking doll last. So start for bird calls. You got 10 charges on that. You've got a number of things you can do with the bird calls. And if it gets used, there's dice rolls to regain those charges each dawn. And if it uses its last charge, there's some potential penalties attached to it.
What?
But you can deal with that more. Whoever has that, you'll be able to look at the full details of it. But it can die. Like you can lose that altogether. And it can also be used essentially like a monk staff as a common weapon as well. Your spell scroll that you've got there for detect poison and disease, you can sense the presence and location of poisons for the duration, which is 10 minutes. You are also considered to have the items you need for that spell. So whoever takes it, mark off that component that's in there as well, which is a U leaf. And there's some information in there about what is needed to use it. So have a look at your spell casting before whoever takes that. Humanoids are the ones that can wear that's all of you, the boots, because Ali is considered a halfling for this, so she has those same benefits. You can choose to leave tracks like any other kind of humanoid while you are wearing them. You can make a conscious decision to leave those tracks behind. And the last one, the Tankard of Sobriety. So on it, there's this really fancy ornate carving of a very stern-faced god on one side. And anything you drink that's been poured in there that's non-magical, you won't get drunk. So it can't do anything. If poison's put in there, it won't get rid of the poison, or something harmful, it won't make it magically better. But if you put alcohol in there and drink from it, you will not get drunk. Which is the opposite.
Jeez,
of
I
what
could have
more
used this
like.
last fucking game. Where was this last game?
I was too busy
Alright,
taking
and
custom
are
damage.
you going back to finish on the talking doll?
Yes,
as
I'm
promised?
just getting to the right tab. There it is. So the talking doll, this doll that while it's within 5 feet of you, you can spend a short rest teaching it or telling it to say up to 6 phrases. They cannot be any more than 6 words long. So 6 words or less. And you can set an observable condition under which the doll speaks that phrase. And you can also replace the old phrases with new ones every short rest. So whatever the condition is that you set, it has to occur within 5 feet of the doll, which then makes it speak. So you could make it, the example that they give with it is, for example, whenever someone picks it up, it might say, I want a piece of candy. And whoever is attuned to that doll, you have to attune to it. The phrases are lost when you end that attunement. It's essentially reset. And the doll itself looks like A cross between Super Ted and Batman. So you are actually looking at it's got fully movable and articulatable arms. It's around the same size as Rathu in terms of height, a little bit smaller. So it's about just over a foot tall. It's got movable arms, elbows. When I say movable, I don't mean like the full human range of movement. I mean, think of a stuffed toy that has joints in the corner so it can stand upright. It can sit. And it's an exceedingly cute Batman talking doll teddy bear that has the full Batman get up with the grey bat suit and the chest plate across the top with the classic bat symbol, like the 1980s bat symbol on the chest armor, and kind of what is attempting to be a scowl on the face of the doll. It really just looks incredibly cute. This is a very cute bat bear doll that has been brought in as part of this this fall as a talking doll. So I have a Batman teddy bear talking doll, and I've got a picture of it that I'll link to you all, and I'll put it in it when it comes into the game.
Cool. There's one definite thing that I would very much love on that list. If that is okay. I have asked in the team chat there.
We've lost. I just realised we've lost Zachary. Sorry, I had to get my OneNote up to read through the items.
There's a pet emergency.
I see. I hope everything's okay.
Okay, so can we? How big did you say that the talking doll was? Out of curiosity,
it's about a foot tall,
right?
And it's quite, it's not like a ripped muscular. It's a Batman teddy bear, so it looks like a teddy bear essentially in a Batman outfit, trying to look stern but just looking cute.
Right. So it's like a Clooney Batman rather than a.
Much more Clooney than Christian Bale, yes.
Right. So, it's heavy or no?
No, it's like if you picked up a kid's teddy bear, so it would weigh. I'm trying to think of what it would be in pounds, like less than a kilo, so less than 4 pounds.
We can. Did you say 6 different phrases or 7 phrases?
6 up to 6 phrases of 6 words or less.
Right. That can be triggered by certain scenarios that occur within a 5.
Observable conditions within a 5-foot radius.
Right.
Right. So that could be like the example was picking it up. It could be sight. It could be sound. It could be, if you come up with something really way out there, you'll need to run it past me because we'll, if you've got some bizarre version of what you consider to be an observable condition, we'll have to suss out exactly what you're thinking. But if Bear can observe it, then it will respond with whatever of those 6 phrases if you teach it 6 phrases.
Cool. I think we got plans. Ivy, I think you should attune to it and teach it 6. 100%. Teach it 6 things, and then put it somewhere.
I will take the Batman bear doll.
Yeah. I'm dead keen for the Javelin of Lightning because I don't know if you know this, but Phocyonis is like of Greek heritage, and there's another dude in history that also had a lightning bolt javelin, like Zeus, motherfucker. Let's go.
Jesus Christ!
I'm not talking no shit, fucking Zeus from like the last Thor movie, innit?
Not Russell Crowe.
Oh, I'm not gonna lie, he was a dick, man. He was a dick.
Cool. I'm having the Javelin of Lightning. This is going to be good. Epic. So I can equip that shit now. Let's go. Inventory.
I had to laugh because I did this.
I'll do mine later.
Actually, no, I'll tell you about it at the end of the game. It's not relevant now. Okay, so there's a few things there that people have decided on. Ivy's taken Bat Bear. Phocyonis has got the Javelin. Are there any other items that your group has readily taken or decided on while I was shutting windows against the storm?
Zach's getting the Pearl of Power.
Zach taking the Pearl of Power, okay.
And if no one else wants it, Ivy would like those boots of false track.
Do it.
Do it.
Do
Just gotta make them look like rat tracks. She will be the correct mother.
Oh, this is gold.
Well, you'd be leaving essentially like were-rat tracks because you're
That's
leaving
perfect.
humanoid. Yeah, you could definitely leave were-rat tracks.
Tracks.
Those rat tracks. So you've made that. That's your permanent. The sole of those boots isn't. Okay. You'll be attuned to them soon enough. All right, because I think they're if they're not attuned, then you immediately put them on.
Their attunement, yeah.
Yep. So Ivy's feet, if anyone looks too closely, are now in the sole of her boot is now in the shape of a were-rat, very similar to Shea Bouquet that you saw earlier.
Holds Rathu up, points him at the tracks, and just points to me to the tracks. This is me now, yeah. See, rat.
Oh my god.
He's still just wriggling.
We're turning into fairies. What's going on?
5 years nothing left.
You started it.
If he could get his mouth free, he would be biting at you right now. But he's just thrashing in your arms. Read that as you will. I think you're perceptive enough to know that he's maybe not as enthusiastic as what you are about this situation. No, he's still tied up with 50 foot of rope. Like he is tied. There's more rope than rat there at the moment. Okay, and I'm assuming like I can leave you guys to divvy up that money however you see fit.
What's a platinum worth? Is that like?
Well, someone still
gold.
owes me 93 gold, and another person still owes me 50 gold.
Oh, well, I swapped you for junk, didn't I?
One still owes me like 4 years worth of rent.
That's funny.
Maybe you guys do need to sort out that the counter. And we did have a question several sessions ago about whether you could convert that. I think Mish converted a bunch of copper. You can certainly convert if you want to convert that platinum into other currencies.
You have to take it to a banking park establishment to convert it, or
no? Somewhere that's handles money. I think Mish converted all of your copper into silver, if I remember right. Last when you were there, those who went in there with like there's one point you guys had like 700 copper or something crazy from the dungeon one. But you'll find many willing people to do that conversion. Mort's no use to you there because he doesn't like all of the shit that you guys do with him up until this point has been free. So no currency has changed hands. I mean, I guess you could ask him, but I think I've already told you the answer just then.
Oh, good. All right, so where are we at? We've got spoils. Mort has told us what they are. I've stuffed my face full of cheese sandwich.
Yep.
Ivy's about to wash a rat or has washed a rat. I don't really know how that goes.
So the only place you've got to wash the rat at the moment is that you're aware of is that you've been able to see in this very basic version of your safe room is the bathroom, which no one, as far as I'm aware, has at least made a point of making use of. So you definitely would assume that there'd be some facilities in there that you could make use of.
Is there like a fire hose somewhere?
Not that you've seen, no.
Is
no,
there like a car wash we could make it through?
Again, not that you've seen there's been several areas of the city that you haven't gone tromping to because you found most places were closed, but no, you certainly haven't. I'm going to get you a roll for that. You have not seen anything like that in your travels. Now, while all of this is going, you're making decisions. Phokionis, from the volume of cheese that you've been ingesting happily, and eating your worries away, you feel a familiar gurgling in your stomach that tells you that you probably need to step into the bathroom facility sooner rather than later.
Oh, lactose intolerance.
Holy shit.
Guys, I've got to go and anyway, I'll be back. More, do you got a newspaper? Maybe a magazine?
I'm going to scrunch up my nose because my nose is really good at smelling things and that smells fucking disgusting.
As you're heading off, saying it over your shoulder, Mort throws to you something. You catch it because you're heading into that bathroom and like through the door. That as you step inside, you look down and see that it's the Cheese World catalog. Like, like you've been in there, you've seen it, but this is what Mort had on hand for you to read or look at the pretty pictures of as you're using the facilities. So
Has that goes
Pocahontas,
out like other Care Bears in like questionable cheese maiden outfits or something? I don't know. Is that what that's about?
you're literally looking at a periodical that
Cheese.
mentions all of the current and upcoming seasonal cheeses of Cheese World.
Oh
for
my
this fall
god.
that has been put out apparently to, I don't know, subscribers, shopkeepers. It doesn't, you know, there's no address on it. It's just Mort had it. Now you take care of what you needed to go in there for, and in your hurry to get through, you hadn't noticed this on the way in, but as you, with great relief, step back out, you actually take stock of your surroundings and realize that, like, you're in a really familiar spot. Like this looks like your bathroom at home. This is a little bit of a smaller, squished down version of it, but it's, you know, a much cleaner version of your familiar toilet bowl. And there's like a little entryway that's separated off, like a washroom that you didn't necessarily have. You actually had, you know, a single room that had the bath, shower, toilet, sink, etc. was all in your apartment. But this looks really familiar. It's just in a different sort of shape and layout. But what you hadn't noticed when you race through is that every available space of the bathroom, the washroom, all of the walls that surround it, which is, I mean, it's not a huge space, but it's around 9 to 12 feet by 9 to 12 feet square. It's reasonable, but it's not huge. So you're looking at something that's like a 3x3 or a 3x4 meter room. Decent, but not massive. And the walls are really unusually covered with what looks to be just this seamless, slightly shimmering whiteboard type surface. The closest thing you can think of is that it looks like a whiteboard. You've seen them before, potentially like in a classroom, but this is much bigger and it covers floor to ceiling, every available surface. And as you're kind of sussing this out, you take stock and notice that one section to the left hand side of the sink where you just wash your hands, which is good boy, but which is why you'd noticed it. The whiteboard actually has some writing on it, and it's in really neat, like it looks like it's been done painstakingly to be printed neatly and be understood and be clear. And there's a message and a bunch of information written on there. I will put this in the Discord for you, but this is what at the moment, Pocahontas, you are reading. So Team C.H.A.O.S. You know that we're part of a group, and there's the anarchy symbol that you were very briefly informed of when you had the privacy bubble from Zev, when Rick was disappeared from your group to parts unknown. That we've been working to dismantle the syndicate, free the multiverse, and end these falls for hundreds of years. We want to earn your trust. We want to work with you. We want you and your team to get stronger and work with us to take this whole fucking system down. In capital letters. Don't mention this to anyone outside of this bathroom, or if I or one of the twins or someone who identifies themselves and you trust and we trust and tells you that you are able to speak freely, you may talk. Otherwise, do not. This whiteboard is mirrored in Mish, Mash, myself's, and Rick's bathrooms, as well as every member of your team. It cannot be read by the AI, as the AI cannot access this space as part of the fall conditions. We've received word that the Bathe Corporation is actively trying to sabotage the viewership of this season of the fall to tank Boran and initiate a hostile takeover. Zev has also been able to tell us that the broke-ass Boran Corporation have repurposed an amusement park AI, which is what is running this fall, and it's already starting to show signs of wear and insanity from the strain of arranging and tracking this entire crawl, something that normally doesn't start to happen to the AI until around level 10. Over the sink, so now across, like over the little mirror you had there that you often sat flexing in front of and admiring your pecs, but just clearly to make sure that you don't miss it. There's a map. It's affixed to the whiteboard, and it's got sort of a glowing sheen over it, very clear to see, but it's just a faint glowing sheen, and the whole whiteboard does. I was about to tell you what you could assume, but you're not intelligent enough to assume anything, so you're just reading. And so next to the map, there's, and it's quite large. Like you were talking around an A3 size. It's a decent size. Yeah, it's a big map that you can hold comfortably between two hands. You don't have to stretch your arms all the way apart to hold it. And there's a note next to that as well. That reads, "This is a partial map of dungeon level 2. It's not much, but it's the best we can do. The twins managed to salvage this when they tinkered with your dreaming. It doesn't show everything, but it does show some critical elements like a shitload of traps, especially arrow traps. And again, in wearing capitals again, make sure you don't make it look too obvious that you know where this shit is. P.S. None of this can be removed from this room. It is fixed in place. The whiteboard can be erased and added to." Then next to, so the main writing, that really painstaking print that you've become accustomed to reading through, there is a paw print that looks literally like someone was trying to be maybe a little bit clever, a little bit cute, and has like colored their Care Bear paw with a whiteboard marker, and then like the equivalent of whiteboard marker, and then tried to stick it onto the board, but the majority of it has soaked into the paw. So there's just this hodgepodge shitty attempt at a paw print there. And then Mort has printed his name with the eye patch on the O that you're familiar with from the sign hanging over his door. And then in much smaller cursive script and quite a cramped small writing, as opposed to the big chunks that Mort was maybe using two hands to hold the pen with, in a different set of handwriting, is, "Team C.H.A.O.S, please, 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 please trust us on this. You will benefit from finding and pressing the red button in this next dungeon. I don't know exactly where it is, and even if it looks scary, and instead of writing as fuck is a capital A and a capital F, and everything is screaming at you not to, press the red button." And then underneath that, and there's a little Mish has signed her name next to it. And then again, underneath that, Mort has come back in. And again, in that painstaking font. And there's a smiley face and a tick next to it where Mish has signed off on it. It says, "Trust us. We can't tell you in public, but get the bathroom upgrade next level." Bit obscure. You haven't really learnt too much about the upgrades that are available to the safe room, but a big set of information there that has been passed along to you from what it appears to be a group effort between Mort and Mish while you guys have been off doing your thing with the cheesemonger.
Just because you're going to put that in Discord later, you say.
I certainly am. Yeah,
thank
that
God.
is all info that you guys, I didn't expect you to madly try and note take, because it was a fair bit. So they have found a way to communicate with you and allow you guys to communicate to each other via the bathroom. A little bit old fashioned, a little bit stop start, but you can write messages around some of those topics that you don't necessarily, or you definitely don't want to be talking about, where you could potentially be recorded and overheard by the AI. You can do those messages handwritten. So at the moment, Fokionis, you have finished. You've read all of this. You've tried to, you've looked over that map. I will also be sending you guys the map that is pinned up to the wall. So you will have a copy of what Mort's been able to provide you. Sorry, Mort and the twins have been able to provide you for the next dungeon. Working hard to try and gain your trust. What would you like to do?
Is there something I can write with on the wall?
Yeah, there's a bunch of pens that essentially are like magnetically stuck there, but you can't see any magnets. But
so Fock feeling rather reminiscent of his own, well, not reminiscent, but reminiscing from being in a bathroom that appears like his own, of course recalls that there's a very nice proud picture of Hades that sits above his basin, and this just makes him a little bit sad, but knowing that in a world of hope and wonder, maybe Hades is okay somewhere else out there, he's going to take the positive spin and just confirm that he's got the message by using the marker to, do one better than the shitty Care Bear hand paw print, and just do a little Hades paw print, and just write Roger that, and finish it with the little Hades, as not to put fuck on there, just in case someone sees it that could tie it back to him.
That's perfect. Despite seeing that Mission Mort have written there.
Oh, that's okay.
That's perfect. Oh, I think it's great. All right. Are you exiting the bathroom at this point?
Oh, business is done. I'm going back to my cheese.
So Focionis heads out into the main area where everybody else is.
Woo!
So
You might want to light a match. I'll give that shit a minute.
Fucking Jesus.
Mort's just there shaking his head, and he starts to say, "They're all individual and instances." Oh, never mind.
What?
And he stops looking at you and turns to the rest and go, "It's fine. They're all individual instances. Yours will not need a match.
Wait, I want to see what you've got." Pokes my head back in there. Oh,
It's still yours." What you notice, though,
Why did we both go in at the same time? Are we going the
well,
same
mate,
instance,
look,
or-
I don't want to judge, but no, I'm good, thanks.
You could help me come clean Rathu.
You know what? Pass.
Oh, try and think about that some more.
All right. So who's doing what? When the doors open, you can't actually see into your room. So that barrier that's normally kind of opaque, you can sort of see through. It's solid for the bathroom. So no, you can't see your own. You can't see anybody else's. When you're on the outside of it, all you see is the door and the LED above it that is rotating through, like your little stylized icons of orc, raccoon, etc., to indicate that that's your bathroom. Who's doing what? Focionis has come out. He's now over, eating his cheese, with Mort just shaking his head quietly, eating right alongside him.
I look at Mort and go, Mort, what's that cheese on page 63, bro?
Nudging knowingly. Okay.
Oh.
I like to call that one Brie.
Good.
Right. Are you going in with Rathu, Ivy? You put it out there to everybody. Are you
Yes,
going into
Rathu needs to be washed. Does anyone want to help wash Rathu?
Oh, no.
Fine, I'll help.
If
Watch
Rathy goes
him.
into the toilets, won't it be Rathy's instance of a toilet?
I think if I go in first while calling, like holding him, it should be fine.
Okay, just checking.
All right, so
Prestidigitation cleans, doesn't it? Anyway.
Yeah, surely there's
Yeah, but he
smoke
needs a good scrub.
so you head on in. Despite the fact that you're walking in together, the instant that you step through, Ivy, you're taken to the familiar surrounds of, for you, is actually a bigger bathroom than what you had in the space that you shared with Alia, and all of your familiar bits and pieces, both for yourself and that you used for the moments where you could pin Alia down to attempt to brush her or clean her, are all in place. So you do have those available to you, including some of the collars and ties that you use to try and restrain her in the times where you're brave enough to try and give her a shower or a bath. They're all there from your bathroom.
Does that mean there's a Dorito packet around as well? You know, like how you like shake something to help an animal into the bath and stuff?
I'm gonna say yes. That's a great question. Dorito. If you look under the sink, there it is, the familiar bait for Alia. There's no Doritos, maybe a few crumbs left in it. They haven't.
Oh no, there's
survived
nothing. I tipped it out and ate
thing.
it. I just sealed it back up after putting some rice in it. It works fine.
Great. And Zachary, you step through, assuming you're going to appear there with Alia, only to find yourself in the ensuite, essentially, of from your house that you shared with your wife for many, many years. It's familiar to you. It's a bit smaller than the space that is provided for it, being the ensuite from the room that you shared for so long. But you are not there with Alia. You have both ended up in, as you step through together, didn't matter. You're in your own individual instances, which Mort was alluding to before, just giving up on Focionis. What you
Wait, who said I was going to the bathroom?
because I
Oh,
was
sorry, did I say
talking about
Alia?
you.
Ivy. Apologies, sorry. Ivy and Zachary. Sorry, Alia.
So hang on, man, did I agree to this?
So what you also see, much quicker than Pocahontas, because you're not in a desperate race to get to the bathroom,
Yeah, Alia
um,
doesn't use the
is-
bathroom. But
is the writing all over the walls that Pocahontas had just read, and you know, the vast majority of the time he spent in the bathroom was actually painstakingly reading those messages. So you're brought up to speed with you read those same things. One of you with Rathu in your arms, and one of you individually feeling a little bit of nostalgia and maybe some pangs of sadness at this familiar surrounding.
can you read it out again?
No. I'll drop it for you to read yourselves. Not right now, though.
All right.
You know,
Yeah,
you've got a form of communication between you and the
I
team.
mark with like a big Z to show that I
Zorro.
received the message.
Perfect. All right, so Ivy, you're in there with Rathu, currently bound in shit tons of rope.
I thought you were gonna say
How do you-
bound in shit, but anyway.
I mean, there's probably some
Find
shit
out.
in his fur.
How would you like to tackle this? How would you like to clean
I'm gonna
Rathu?
look him dead in the eyes real quick. This is gonna be over a lot quicker
I am your
if you
father.
work with me.
I want you to make. First off, I want you to do an. Hang on. How are you? Are you attempting to intimidate or coerce? What are you going for?
I'm attempting to work with the rat.
Okay, I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you. Because you're attempting, and you were asking before, you're not sure of what sort of language skills Rathu has. I'm going to get you to try and make a persuasion roll to see if you can persuade this rat to, at the very least, stop struggling and wriggling around in your arms.
I do it like animal handling.
We're
That
getting
is
to
a 22.
Holy shit! What was the actual roll? Was that a nat 20?
down,
Or...
No, it was an 18. Sorry,
Okay.
a 19.
So the rat that was just vigorously struggling in your arms, you see some sort of faint glimmer of understanding. You're not sure exactly what, whether it's, you know, actually understanding the words or just picking up on the tone and the way that you conveyed that message, or maybe your body language. It could even be the scent that you're giving off. But whatever it is, for the first time since he came to consciousness and found himself tied up in all of that rope, Rathu stops struggling and wriggling. His eyes are still fixed on you. He has a broken eye contact, but he is no longer struggling in your arms, and you feel him relax slightly.
I would like to give him a nice, gentle scratch underneath the chin and behind the ears in those hard to reach places and say, "Good boy."
All right, I'm going to keep going with the role that you just did. You've persuaded him to go along with this. You're not getting like the same sort of reaction you get from Alia, who has had years of this kind of conditioning from you, but he doesn't fight back, but he also doesn't lean into it. He's tolerant of it.
Okay. Let's turn on the water now. But do it slowly, since I'm pretty sure this is the first bath he's ever had.
And are you doing, you've got access to essentially like a bath with a surrounded shower screen. You've got a sink.
A typical,
Where are you running this water?
It'll be going in the bath, little bath bit, just on the little ground. Not much. I'm not going to put the plug in yet.
All right. So Rathu stiffens, but that's it so far with that gentle turning onto the water.
I'm going to put my hand in it, show him that it's not hurting me. You know, flick it around a bit, get my hand wet, and then gently, like, slightly pat him on the head.
You've got he's still like hasn't relaxed from the water, but he hasn't made any further aggressive moves. Rathu appears to be tolerating this is probably the best word at the moment.
Okay, before the next step, we're gonna make sure the door's shut and locked, and there's no way for him to escape.
Absolutely is.
Now we're gonna put the plug in, right?
Mhm.
We're gonna slowly lower him towards the water.
Is he still tied in the ropes?
Slightly, yes. We'll take the ropes off in the next step.
Okay, just wanted to check. So, you feel that wriggling stuff, not as vigorous as what it was before you had your little heart to heart with Rathu, but like there is eyes open with some clear terror here, because what Rathu is seeing is being tied up in all of this rope and being lowered into a pool of water.
It's not a lot of water. It's just a tiny
into puddle, towards water, whilst being restrained in a crap load of rope.
Okay. Now that he's seen the water, though, we're gonna lift him back up.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna step into the bath with him. We're going to slightly loosen and remove the rope. Slowly.
Mm-hmm.
With many reassuring pats. And if you guys have ever had like a dog or a cat, you know the thing they do up the nose to distract them?
Mm-hmm.
Doing that too.
Okay, so once you've got those ropes loose enough that Rathu has some room to move, I need you to make an animal handling check for me.
Oh, that's great. I have a +5 in animal handling.
Really?
Yeah, I figured I needed it because of Ollie.
That's fair. That's logical.
So that's a 21.
Someone didn't do
Wow.
their homework.
Okay, so at the I've got Rathu stuff planned out with what the DCs are. I wasn't going to penalize Ivy for however she was built. It's just going to be based on how she rolled. Oh, that's so cute. So as the ropes drop off, you've essentially got you've calmed Rathu down. You've had a good chat. He's tolerant but clearly fearful. He's begins to wriggle as those ropes come off, like sensing that bit of freedom, but with a good firm hand on the scruff of his neck, just how you've handled Alia so many times before, and your other one under his front legs, so that he's supported, but clearly with his size compared to yours, he's not able to do too much, but also you've set him up so that he feels as safe as you can make him, and he's still clearly terrified with eyes wide, but has, at least for the moment, accepted that he can't do too much about what's going on. His breathing's still fast, he's panting, but he is wriggling a little bit in your hands, but not as much as what Alia normally would.
Time to wash him.
All right, so as he goes into the water, I need you to make another animal handling check for me, because now we're going from holding him to cleaning him.
How's a 24 sound?
24 sounds higher than a 22. So these are amazing rolls. I don't even need to look at my DC list for the way you're rolling. This is making it very easy for me. You don't have to look up much at all. So as you put him into the water and the soap and the bubbles, you start to notice like that there is just gunk and shit and dirt just sloughing off. Like it makes you feel almost that like half this giant rat's weight potentially was just in crap that was matted to his fur. So you get in there, you got a scrub and brush that you had to use to clean crap off Alia before when she's gone dumpster diving, rotating him around. Eventually you find that he gets to the point where he seems to be quite happy sort of wallowing in almost in his own shit in this bathtub just full of dirty water. And I'll get a good look at Ivy's keyboard and mouse. You get him clean and realize that this rat that was what you thought was quite brown is actually almost entirely purely white, but he has what a very strangely, over the right eye, there's just a black circular patch, almost like an eye patch, but it's just a patch of black fur over his right eye. That's the only color other than white. Now that you've scrubbed everything, you've cleaned him from tail to tip.
Asshole to breakfast.
Yep, hustle to breakfast. He has been scrubbed. The bath is just filthy. The water is just disgusting, no matter how much rinsing you've done. But Rathu is currently sitting there. Still a bit, needs a rinse off to get the residue, but it turns out to be a clean white rat with a black patch around one eye.
Okay, that sounds adorable though. So it's a good boy, good clean boy.
All right,
Yeah.
so I need to stop looking at Dante's camera. What would you like to do now? I just need to block it.
Perfect.
If it's my bathroom, there should be like small, not like hand towels, but slightly bigger ones, pet towels and stuff. So I will swaddle him like child.
Yep. So you're leaving the rope that you've dropped off him before putting him into the bath. Obviously, or it would have filled the bath. You're leaving that there and wrapping him in a towel.
Yes.
Okay. So your 50-foot of rope stays in the bathroom for now. Rathu is tolerant of this at the moment. He still seems to be a little bit dazed and confused, and it seems to be a little bit torn and not quite sure of how he's ended up here and why he's going along with it, but he is. That he definitely doesn't have that same terror response. Seems to actually be enjoying it a little bit, especially now that the water's a lot more dirty than what it was, and he realizes he's not being bound in rope. So you've got him in your arms in that towel. Where are you heading now?
Time to take him outside of the bathroom.
All right. So as you exit, everyone's seen you go in. Sorry, did you read all of the you definitely did see with all the things you're moving around. You had ample opportunity to see and read, especially with how surprisingly compliant Rathu was being.
I would have read most of it.
Yep. Okay. So you head out with the Rathu now swaddled in a towel that has bright blue stylized raccoons on it. Pretty clearly Alia's towel. And Rathu is all swaddled up in it in your arms, which is a striking difference to a completely different rat to what everyone saw you enter with. But as you come out, he's gone from this comfortable room where it was just you and him and seemed to have developed some sort of rapport and gotten him to go along with what you were after. But he's now gone into this bright fluorescent lighting. There's the Care Bear there who wielded a knife in his face not that long ago, and a bunch of people who, including one who he saw with someone that he had some sort of connection with because he was very angry about it, that was holding the body of a giant rat in a rat trap. Also in that room, I need you to make another animal handling check for me, please.
Just slide this slowly into view.
You are shitting me. That is awesome. That is perfect.
So does a 25 work?
Yeah. I just love the slow. Which
I wanted it to be slow so you could tell that I didn't like move it or anything.
You're fine. I would have trusted you. So seemingly developing a bit of a bond with you. Oh, there's the dog version of Rathu right there. In quite a short truncated period of time, because you weren't gone for all that long. Like it took a while, but it didn't take 10 hours or 2 weeks. Or you seem to have developed a reasonable rapport with Rathu. So what was this struggling brown bundle of anger is now in your arms as everyone sort of does a double take as you come through. swaddled up, almost baby-like. Ali, very familiar to you with same sort of position you've been in many times before, in one of your blue raccoon towels, and where before he was just violently trying periodically to get out of the ropes. Upon seeing all of you, especially those of you that Rathew's quite either scared of or intimidated by, or maybe angry at, and whatever going through his little rat mind, actually crawls up partially out of the towel so that you can all see that him from the shoulders up, and snuggles his head into the crook of Ivy's neck. So he's now half out of the swaddling, and you all get a decent look at this rat, who is now bright white with a black circular eye patch, a circle of black, sorry, not an eye patch like Mort, but a circle of black around one eye. No longer a dirty, filthy rodent, and almost like she swapped rats, is now cuddling into Ivy's neck. You'd have no idea what went on in that bathroom, but she's pulled some magic shit.
She sham-wowed the rat.
Even Mort appears to be impressed and does a double take on what you're walking out with.
I told you he'd be a good boy.
Just bleached it.
Bleached it.
All right. What would you guys like to do? Ali, are you looking to do anything?
Okay.
Well, you got a bunch of miscellaneous stuff. I know you guys have been collecting. You know that there's still that Mish is likely still up and working on Rick's commission. She's got to be getting close to delivering that. You've still got Shay's keys, which you can reasonably assume, Ali, your intelligence is high enough there that it's.
You know what? I'm gonna go give those keys to Mort. Go for gold. Get some cheese while nobody's there.
Mort takes the key. Explain to him what it is. He goes, might just swing by for a look. little Care Bear smile on his face.
I treat you well, you treat me well.
And he gives you a wink, but because he's got an eye patch over one eye, it just sort of looks like he's squinting. It doesn't quite work the way he was intending it to. He's not very practiced at that action, clearly. But
yeah, that's all I got.
I mean, there's more of the world in between. The dungeon you haven't yet seen that shutdown appear. So there's still some areas outside. In terms of time, you're actually coming up close to the morning of the day after you started all of this on. And you haven't level 4. You haven't rested just yet.
Yeah. And what do you reckon, Mort?
You know what? I'm gonna take a nap.
Yeah, should we rest and then go into level 2?
Sounds good.
You could.
Sorry, was that a question of Mort of the group? I heard his name.
Mort. Yeah.
He looks almost like he goes to look at a watch and then shakes his head. Level 2 should be commencing soon. There cannot be many crawlers left. We haven't received an announcement that the dungeon level has opened yet. So Ali's already gone to curl up in the room for a nap.
Yeah, I think a sleep would be good.
Yeah. I need to heal 1 hit point. So sleep would be good.
I need to heal 3.
At avoiding damage. Even with Zach getting the shit shoot out of his arm.
And, yeah, while we're resting, I attune to this Pearl of Power.
Yep, and anyone else who has taken one of those items that requires attunement, you can do the same during your long rest.
I don't have to attune to it, but I'll happily fall asleep, like clutching it like a doll.
Hang on, you got the javelin.
Yes.
That's right. Yeah. So when you go for your rest, he still. He seems a little bit more enamored of Rathu now that he's no longer tied in rope. And with that nat 20, he happily, with the towel placed in over the top of the bedding, crawls into the crate next to Ivy's bed and goes to sleep. So Rathu has had the long rest with the rest of you guys as well. And so that will take you guys through till about, because you're coming up on dawn. So you awaken from that at around 2:00 in the afternoon. As you get out of your slumber, so you're no longer in the midnight of the darkness. You're up and about. The day's still ahead of you. You're all chomping at the bit for just to get on with whatever comes next, and still sort of wondering what is taking so long.
Not letting me take a fucking.
Yeah.
Alright, so we can just
Let's
go.
take
We go on short rest or long rest?
I've just done you guys
We
as a
can-
long rest at
Okay.
8 hours.
Cool.
My long rest isn't working. It's not like healing my HP or anything.
You gotta click take long rest twice.
Yeah, I did that.
I confirm.
Oh, there we go. Now it wants to work after Egg told it to.
Hey,
You've got time until I resync it with Foundry anyway. Your little icons. So you wake up and you've got the smorgasbord of cheese platters and breakfast burgers. More, even though it's after lunchtime, you've essentially got like the
Cheesios,
the
cheese flakes,
the McDonald's
cheesy
lunch
pops.
menu that has come through, the Hungry Jack's lunch menu with burgers and McMuffins and hash browns. And so Mort is still staying true to his decent quality but quite limited food preparation. He's got his lane and he's consistently sticking to it.
Right, well, let's eat
What do you wanna
breakfast.
Yeah, we'll
Step
eat.
down.
Then
Cheese sandwiches.
let's go out, hit the. Yeah, well, do we want to buy anything else from Mish?
I think I'm good, but is Mort happen to take delivery of a certain stockpile of crap that someone bought before they left the arena? No, okay, good.
Not
So we don't
yet.
have to
It's
account
it is due for delivery this afternoon. Like in terms of the time frames negotiated with Rick. No, he hasn't. Just to shortcut that question.
No, it's
and
an
answer.
above the table question.
Yes. No, he hasn't yet received it, but it is due within the next few hours from
Okay.
Mitch.
But yeah, we probably will be gone by then, I imagine.
Doesn't it stay with more anyway?
That gear will, yes.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
And Ivy, when you do your just normal routine using the bathroom in the morning, you notice that rope that you left behind is still sitting in the pile in the bathroom where you left it.
Right, I should return that to Falk.
So you cart that, just drag it out and hand it over to Fokionis. He's now got his 50-footer rope back. Yeah. So at the moment you're in the safe room, you're fed, you're kind of cooling your heels. What are you doing?
Is that rope dry, incidentally, out of curiosity, or has it just been sitting in water?
No, Ivy took it off outside of the bathtub, so she didn't.
Okay, cool.
It would have filled the bathtub 50-footer rope. It was.
No doubt.
It's dry, bit grotty because
Who wants to go for a stroll through town with me?
Well, we should explore other areas, you know.
Yeah,
we go
let's keep
past the cheese
exploring
store and see
the
if
land
it's got-
between. Yeah.
What do we do with these keys?
Ali gave them
I
more.
don't have any keys anymore.
What? You've always got a key. But you did.
I gave the keys to Mort and told him to go crazy in the cheese shop
all
while he
of the
can.
keys? Wait, so we can't get
I
in
only
the
had
cheese
2
shop? What the hell?
keys.
You had a key
Hey!
ring.
Ask Mort. Mort. Fucking hell. Mort. He'll probably get you some cheese.
No.
Mort's there spinning the key ring. So you got a key ring off. You had separately a key that you found in the crate. That was in your inventory, and you also picked up a key ring off the what was left behind of C.H.A.O.S when
The fuck am I going to do with a key ring?
It's a keyring full of keys,
Trumpet.
like an old-fashioned jailer's keyring, which is what you handed out when you said handed keys to Mort. That's what I took. You handed to Mort.
Oh, so the bunch of keys you handed to Mort.
Yeah, the single key was never put on the keyring, so Alia still has a key that, at the very least, gets into the secret stash, for C.H.A.O.S in the warehouse.
Cool. So it's that secret room that was towards the backish.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Well, we can't walk to the cheese shop if you don't have keys to the cheese shop. But someone else has keys to the cheese shop, and he's spinning them on his hand. I wonder if we inquire as to his, intentions for said keys.
I'll ask him then.
Mort, bro, what's doing? We're going to go for a walk. You maybe want to come with, see what's doing at the cheese shop?
I'm waiting on a delivery from Mish, but I'm happy for you to take these keys and maybe do some shopping for me.
Oh, bro. When's the last time you stepped foot in that store,
Oh,
wouldn't it be good to reacquaint yourself with its cheesiness?
I will entrust them with you and hope to get them back.
Oh.
And he hands them over. He's entrusting you with the keys. You've now got the keys.
We got the keys
C.H.A.O.S
back.
keys.
So that's the big chunky keyring of all.
Yeah, like jailers. Think jailers keyring.
Yeah. Okay.
6 or 7 keys on it. Yep.
Oh, let's
Lali
go.
was heading out. Fokianis is heading out.
Yep. I'm going for a walk.
I'll head out too.
Better go find a harness for that rat.
Yes, we do.
All right, so Ivy, they've still got the nat 20 there. Are you taking Rathu with you, or are you leaving him in his crate?
How big is Mort's cage that he's given us for Rathu? Because if it's big enough to keep with me, I'll take Rathu out. But if not, I'll leave him to sleep and nap somewhere.
It's big enough, like you could put a large dog in there. It's a big cage.
You ain't carrying that thing around.
Yeah, there's plenty of space. Like you could pick it up; it'd be ungainly. But at the moment, Rathu's asleep. And at some point while you guys are asleep, some food and water has actually been placed in there. So Mort, true to his word, has looked after Rathu and placed cheese in there with Rathu, who appears to have maybe not had a lot, but he has definitely had a nibble and definitely had a good drink of
Rathu is
water.
used to eating cheese and not just human flesh.
Well, he had a nibble. He had a good drink of water. There's probably a fair bit of stress going on for Rathu. He's back to asleep, almost like he's been in another encounter with Zachary. All right, so the 4 of you are heading out. As you head out of the safe room, bright light, the natural light hits you. It's almost like night and day. Night is dark, day is bright. You don't really have a light source that you can identify. It's a strange sort of bubble that you're in this world. And as you come out of that safe room, that you hear this, it's strangely familiar, but also really jarring, weird sound that has you all looking around. And it's just this clicking and clacking that you're hearing, something coming over the cobblestones. And eventually, Alia, you're the first to actually pinpoint the direction of that sound with a little bit more heightened senses. And you kind of draw the attention of everyone else to look over to the right-hand side of where you came out of Mort's safe room, and there is just this wild-haired, wild-eyed, clearly homeless lady pushing a shopping cart just full of that like stereotypical everything is on this cart. There is clothes. Looks like
I just found a fellow hoarder.
End of a Nerf gun sticking out at the end of it. There's maybe a mop handle. There's just bag upon bag upon bag strapped, tied around this shopping cart. The wheels are going crazy in almost trying to go in 4 different directions. She's laughing maniacally and alternating between that and muttering to herself as she's going along the cobblestones. And as soon as she notices your group's attention on her, from where she was going straight ahead, which would have taken her probably straight past you guys, she makes a really abrupt turn down the alleyway just across from Mort's safe room and disappears from sight. Like you can still hear the click, but she just books it. And that strange, weird, jarring sight. She's on her own with all of her apparently earthly belongings and is running around or disappearing somewhere from view. And that sound gets fainter until you can no longer hear it. As you're all sort of stunned there with that little interaction, Phocyonis, you actually are the first to notice a really strange feeling. It's like the just really soft, papery skin squeeze, like a squeeze onto your forearm or the back of your elbow, and you hear this this croaky, this ancient voice that matches the, without even seeing anything, that soft, frail, paper thin skin. You're this, oh my, you're a big one. You remind me of my Barry. And looking down, you see this ancient woman peering up at you through these colossal glasses. Her hair is just tightly pulled back into a bun. She's hunched over with age. She's got that like almost librarian outfit on with the knitted cardigan, the house dress underneath, the blanket over her knees, and a set of comfortable shoes on. And initially, Phocyonis, that's where your attention is taken. But for the rest of you looking around to see where this voice is coming from, you actually see what looks like one of those service carts, but a really long one, and a couple of them strapped together with a bunch of elderly people, some of them tied down to remain in their seats, not like restrained, but apparently unable to just sit upright by themselves. So they're very carefully and caringly lashed in place to keep them in place without being able to move. And there's 4 people around that cart. 2 of them.
Can I just say, what sort of world is this? Like, you have a cart that has ye olde worldy fucking seatbelt made of rope, but there's some old bag with a shopping trolley that's just skated off down the hallway, down the alleyway. Like, what the
And at the front of that cart, almost Flintstone style, there is 2 people who are jury rigged somehow, are set up where they can stand at the front of the cart and pull it, and then there are 2 more at the back pushing it. You see, you don't get a good look just at the moment because it's all just too fresh. And there's what appears to be a human male. There's a giant rock-looking thing beside him, helping pull the cart, and then there's what appears to be an elf and a dwarf at the back they're pushing, but both of them also are very aware of their surroundings and holding their weapons, not threateningly, but just they're there and in hand. And with that, that's where we're going to finish this week.
I want to know more about Barry.
Doom, doom, doom.
Yeah. Some confused looks going on there.
That's right. This week's episode has been bought by Cheese Magazine.
Cheese World Catalogue.
I can't believe we spent 20 minutes like deconstructing the rat.
I can't believe I spent 2 hours farming wool.
What?
Well, depending on where you take it next week, I'm very confident that
yeah, like why was I even here tonight?
things are going to go a little bit differently.
No, because you're making goo eyes at Mort. Like,
hey, if I take care of Mort, he'll take care of me. It's a win-win situation.
Okay.
I really did think that that Ali was going to be more jealous of Rathu, but she seems so far to be quite tolerant of the.
Oh, so far.
That he's using the blankies, that he's snuggling up to her owner.
Hey, if my owner is occupied by something else. She's not occupied on me.
That's perfect.
You said
I can
Rathu
go
had
do
red
whatever I
eyes,
want.
didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah, you said red.
Yeah, you said red
Yeah.
eyes previously when.
Yeah.
Alright, cool.
So white fur, red eyes, and a black
so
patch around one eye.
lab
Black
rat
patch
red
fur
eyes
around
or
one eye.
like
He's got red eyes, dude. Make it
Right, get with the program. Fuck's sake.
make it better. He really hasn't got pink eyes. He's got red eyes.
It's got pink eye.
And he's very clean now. No, and you've got I will put the info that you've all got on your bathroom, all apart from Alia, who didn't go to into the bathroom and at least that we're aware of just yet. But I'll give you that info. And if she did go in, well, Alia speaks common, reads common, so she would have picked up on that info as well. So you'll have all of that on hand. I'll drop that in the Discord.
Yeah,
Please make up your minds about who's taken what gear and just allocate it to yourselves and make sure you divvy up the gold. We don't need to work through that on the stream. If you guys just work out who's getting what, that would be great. If you don't mind just putting in the Discord, let me know who has what, please. I know a few of them. Excuse me. So I know who's got the pearl. I know who's got the javelin. I know who's got the Batman teddy bear.
Yeah, you know who's got it, but you don't know who's going to end up with it.
No, I don't. I know where it is at the moment.
Cool.
All right. But we will convene with whatever this is, and with the timer ticking down to the next dungeon. Confident from Maud at least that the next dungeon is about to open up, and I will drop your map that you guys have from Mort in the Discord as well. I won't be doing that tonight though. So everything that you guys have received, all of that kind of scene setting stuff, you'll have access to it all for your characters and your notes.
Cool.
Excellent. Thank you, sir.
That's all good. We'll pick up there, and I don't even want to try and imagine what decisions you guys might make, but see what decisions lie ahead and which direction you take things next Monday night.
Well, at least I don't have to do any more investigating holes.
Not yet.
No, we got Rathu for that now.
Oh god. You know he's only got like 7 HP, and
I have had a rat. I feel like if we put him down somewhere, it'll be fine.
I'm sure Mish would be able to find some sort of micro animal armor.
I'm pretty sure I've got like some like armor in my bag that's not being used that we could refashion into something maybe.
Well, animal armor is called barding.
Right.
And your point is
That helps. Well, if you're going to get the armor for Rathu, would be called barding. Just
It's
use
okay.
specifically-
We play Final
No.
Fantasy 14. Treat him like a chocobo.
There's no bards in this party though.
Not yet.
how
Not yet.
very well. It's going to be. He's going to get it. He's going to get armor. He's going to get a ukulele. He's got. Oh,
He's
God.
going to get a kazoo. Don't you worry.
got a spare long sword he can have.
So Rathu.
I'm glad you guys came up with a name before you met Rathu. I fear that he may have actually become Team Rathu at this point. This is.
I mean, yes, I'll just, rodents assemble. Let's go.
Did anyone actually write down what chaos stood for when we first made it?
I left that.
Can
with
you
you
write
guys.
it in Discord?
Yeah, it's in Discord somewhere.
It probably is. I wasn't recording it because I do not want to accidentally say that acronym
What do
on
you
screen.
mean?
Yeah, you did the first time.
It was so
I know I
long
did. I
ago.
don't want to do it again.
It's
talking and I
okay
went,
as
"Oh,
long as you're
shit."
not calling someone else one.
Yeah, I think it's just better to
Err on the side of
to
no.
avoid it altogether.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna set this raid up, and I'm gonna go get some sleepy buys
Yeah, same.
and get ready
Same.
for
Same,
next
same.
Monday. I'll be honest, I did not expect us to be doing a rat wash, and I did not expect Ivy to keep on rolling so high.
Well, the thing is,
That was excellent.
her normal stuff is like +3, and then her animal handling is like +5. So
Yeah,
even
that's
rolling
perfect.
a 16, it was like, haha, 20.
It's brilliant. And look, I'm not going to tell you what the DCs were that you were having to hit, but you well and truly you hit them. Because I have got some things noted down for potential things I thought this direction it might go. I did not expect Bath to be one of them.
There's a pretty clean.
You guys
Matthew
remember
now in
when we
Fairmont.
picked the name? I don't think it actually is in the Discord.
It is.
Oh,
I just-
actually,
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll have it there somewhere. I'm sure you will. But I'm going to hit this raid, and I'll stay on here with you guys. So peace out. Love you all. Thanks everyone for hanging and seeing it through to the end. The after stuff will be on YouTube, and please go check that out. Like, subscribe, and help grow the YouTube channel. See you next Monday.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
we just know it stands for something, but we just can't remember what it was.
It was something along the lines of "Come here,
All right, straight with flying hook there.
asshole." I don't know. It would be in that first recording, wouldn't it?
No.
First time Spa said it. No.
Oh, I might have left. I think I left that in, but I didn't say the whole. I didn't say the whole acronym.
Oops.
I'm sure you guys will come up with it.
Something simps. I know was at the end.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And I do understand that using in that context is not against C.H.A.O.S. Egg, I get it, but it's such a
Did you write it in the notes?
I probably did if it was in the first one.
Sorry, I should say I didn't. I made sure not to because I didn't want to accidentally say it out.
I think it might be in the notes.
Where did I put the notes though?
You're starting to become Chaos and Friends at the moment.
What is the request? Oh no.
I can't open either of them.
Yeah.
Permission denied.
All right, I will drop all of the stuff from tonight in there so that you guys can grab a hold of it, because I know it was way too much to be trying to note take your way through with the initial dump that was on that whiteboard, and then the map, etc.
Yeah, the map
For Dungeon 2.
That's going to indicate where there's arrow traps.
Mm-hmm.
That would be useful. For
Yep.
sure.
So you'll definitely, everyone's at least seen it, and we'll finalize the map stuff next week. But we're definitely going to be moving things along next Monday.
Wait, it says the file you have requested has been deleted.
Yeah, it must have happened when I cleared everything for work.
Oh, because it was a Google Doc? Or...
Because it was a Google Doc that had been untouched for over a month.
Bugger. Surely between your brains you can reconstruct or maybe even come up with a better one.
I put it in the... It was "Come here, assholes," or "simps." Because that's the two kinds of people we'll find in the dungeon: assholes or simps.
You found plenty of the former, not many of the latter. Where does Rathu fit in there? He wasn't in the
Rathu's a
dungeon, was he?
simp. After one encounter with
I'm going to
Ivy,
bed.
he's enamored.
I think I'll stop the YouTube version. It's just a little bit before that. Even though Rathu's not a real person, I know that we can't do that one.
YouTube's not against simps, is it? I thought it was
I'll
on
head off
Twitch's
to
QoS.
Actually, I think it's just Twitch, but I'll have to think carefully about that. All right. See yous. Thanks, everyone.
good night.